friends, welcome to DUDIR Academy. I have included the NCLEX pattern questions in this video. NCLEX pattern questions and answers are included in this video. So reviewing these type of questions will help you to get an idea about a much more complex level of questions asked in various nursing competitive examinations. So let me start. First question. Which of the following clinical manifestation should the nurse monitor on a client who underwent a gastric resection and is at the risk for developing dumping syndrome? Options: bradycardia, dizziness, constipation, extreme thirst. So the question is, which of the following clinical manifestation should the nurse monitor on a client who underwent gastric resection and is at the risk for developing dumping syndrome? Here the right answer is dizziness. So in going detail with this, dumping syndrome, it is also known as rapid gastric emptying. That means a group of symptoms caused by rapid emptying of the gastric contents into the small intestine that occurs after gastric resection. And the early manifestations of dumping syndrome occurs 10 to 30 minutes after eating, and the symptoms include the vasomotor disturbances, that is dizziness, tachycardia, syncope, sweating, pallor, palpitations, and the desire to lie down. So this is dumping syndrome, and this causes the vasomotor disturbances in the patient that chiefly include this dizziness, tachycardia, syncope and all. So here in this question, which of the following clinical manifestation the nurse should monitor on a client who underwent gastric resection and is at risk of dumping syndrome? The answer is dizziness. Dizziness is the vasomotor disturbance that usually developed as an early manifestation of dumping syndrome. Next question. A client is receiving lovastatin. It is important to understand the effect of medication by periodic evaluation of options: bleeding time, creatinine level, blood glucose level, liver function studies. So the client receiving lovastatin, it is important to understand the effect of the medication by periodic evaluation of which of these serum levels? The answer is liver function studies. Lovastatin, it is a drug that is used to treat hyperlipidemia. It is a statin medication and it is used to treat high blood cholesterol and reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. This medication is converted by the liver to active metabolites and therefore not used in clients with active hepatic disease or elevated transaminase level. That is, the statin drugs, it can cause liver damage, and so it is contraindicated in clients with active liver disease. So it is important to have the periodic liver function studies. The patients are recommended to have periodic liver function studies. So here the answer is, it is important to monitor the liver function studies for the clients receiving lovastatin. Third question. Which of the following strategies should be incorporated by the nurse in the plan of care while caring a client with acute pulmonary edema? Options are reducing anxiety, increasing fluid volume, decreasing cardiac output, promoting a positive body image. The right answer is reducing anxiety. So in case of acute pulmonary edema, as the cardiac output falls, the sympathetic nervous system get activated and it result in fight or flight reaction that further impairs the cardiac function. So help the patient to relax in order to promote the oxygenation, to control the bronchospasm and to enhance the myocardial contractility. So reducing anxiety is the first important action in case of patients with acute pulmonary edema. And also the goals of treatment for pulmonary edema is to increase the cardiac output and decrease the fluid volume, to increase the cardiac output and decrease the fluid volume. So in this option, the answer is reducing anxiety, and the other options like increasing fluid volume and decreasing cardiac output is wrong, because the main goal of treatment of pulmonary edema is to decrease the fluid volume and increase the cardiac output. And promoting a positive body image has no significance in this condition, in acute pulmonary edema. So the right answer is reducing anxiety. Then next question, question number 4. Which of the following has probably occurred if the client's peripheral intravenous site feels cool, pale, swollen and not infusing? The client's intravenous peripheral IV site feels cool, pale, swollen and not infusing. Options given: phlebitis, infection, infiltration, thrombosis. The right answer is infiltration. An IV site is infiltrated means it becomes dislodged from the vein and is lying in subcutaneous tissue, and the patient experiences pallor, coolness and swelling of the IV site when the IV fluid get infused into the subcutaneous tissue. So here the infusion stops when the pressure in the tissue exceeds pressure in the tubing. So here the answer is infiltration, as the patient's peripheral IV site is feeling cool, pale, swollen and not infusing means the IV site is infiltrated. And so here the nurse needs to remove the infiltrated catheter and insert a new IV. Next question. What is the priority nursing intervention when a client comes into the emergency department in a severe state of anxiety after a car accident? What is the priority nursing intervention when a client comes to the emergency department in a severe state of anxiety after a car accident? Options: remain with the client, put the client in a quiet room, teach the client deep breathing exercises, encourage the client to talk about the feelings and concerns. The right answer is remain with the client. If the client is left alone with severe anxiety, he or she may feel abandoned and become more overwhelmed. So the nurse must stay with the client. And the other interventions like teaching the deep breathing exercises or any relaxation exercises means it is not possible to teach the client this exercise, deep breathing or relaxation exercise, until the anxiety decreases. And also encouraging the client to discuss the concerns and feelings would not take place until the anxiety has decreased. And also if the patient is placed in a quiet room, it is important to remain with the client. So the priority nursing intervention in this question is remain with the client. Next question. Which assessment finding would the nurse expect to note in the child who is hospitalized with a diagnosis of nephrotic syndrome? Options: weight loss, constipation, hypotension, abdominal pain. The right answer is abdominal pain. So regarding the clinical manifestations of nephrotic syndrome, it include edema, anorexia, fatigue and abdominal pain due to the presence of extra fluid in the peritoneal cavity. So here the answer is abdominal pain, and if you consider the other options, weight loss is not occurring in nephrotic syndrome. Increased weight and also normal BP is seen in nephrotic syndrome. Then regarding the constipation, it is not a right answer because diarrhea is caused by the edema of bowel and it causes the decreased absorption of nutrients. So among these options, the right answer is abdominal pain. Then question number 7. A nurse is assigned to care for a child with a basilar skull fracture and has battle sign. Which of the following would the nurse expect to note in the child? Options: Bruising behind the ear, the presence of epistasis, a bruised periorbital area, and edematous periorbital area. The right answer is bruising behind the ear. So the most serious type of skull fracture is a basilar skull fracture, and there are two classical findings associated with this basilar skull fracture, that is battle sign and raccoon eyes. And what is battle sign? It is the presence of bruising or ecchymosis behind the ear caused by leaking of blood into the mastoid sinus. Okay, it is the bruising behind the ear. And raccoon eyes occurs as a result of blood leaking into the frontal sinus and causing an edematous and bruised periorbital area. So in this question, a child is having the basilar skull fracture and also has battle sign. So we can note there will be bruising behind the ear. The next question. Which priority nursing action should a nurse develop in the plan of care while caring a child with diagnosis of Reye's syndrome? Options: monitoring for hearing loss, monitoring intake and output, repositioning the child every 2 hours, providing a quiet environment with low dimmed light. The right answer is providing a quiet environment with low dimmed light. Cerebral edema is a progressive part of the disease process of Reye's syndrome. Reye's syndrome is a disease primarily affecting the children who are recovering from viral illness, and the exact reason is not known, but it can be a reaction triggered by use of the salicylate containing products for the treatment of viral infection, and it can cause brain swelling. So cerebral edema is a progressive part of the disease process of Reye's syndrome. So maintaining the effective cerebral perfusion and controlling the intracranial pressure is a priority component of care for a child with Reye's syndrome. So decreasing the environmental stimuli would decrease the stress on the cerebral tissue as well as neuron responses. So in this options, providing a quiet environment with low dimmed light is the appropriate nursing action while caring the child with Reye's syndrome. Next question. The nurse is caring for a client receiving fludrocortisone acetate for the treatment of Addison's disease. The anticipated therapeutic effect of this medication is to: options: promote electrolyte balance, stimulate thyroid production, stimulate the immune response, stimulate thyrotropin production. The right answer is promote electrolyte balance. Florinef, that is a drug with mineralocorticoid and moderate glucocorticoid activity. Mineralocorticoids act on the renal distal tubules to enhance the reabsorption of sodium and chloride ions and the excretion of potassium and hydrogen ions. So the client can rapidly develop hypotension and fluid and electrolyte imbalance if the medication is discontinued abruptly. So in this question, the answer is promoting the electrolyte balance is the right response. This medication does not affect the immune response or the thyrotropin production. Thyroid or thyrotropin production is not affected in this medication. So the right answer is promoting the electrolyte balance. Next question. What will be the priority nursing action by the nurse who is taking care of a post-term small 4 gestational age newborn admitted to the nursery after delivery? Options: monitoring urinary output, monitoring blood glucose level, monitoring the total bilirubin level, monitoring hemoglobin and hematocrit values. The right answer is monitoring blood glucose level. Hypoglycemia is the most common metabolic complication in small for gestational age newborn. Hypoglycemia is the most common metabolic complication. It can produce the central nervous system abnormalities and mental retardation if not corrected immediately. So here the right answer is monitoring the blood glucose level. Urinary output is not the highest priority action, even though dehydration may occur from the placental dysfunction, but it is not the important priority action. And monitoring the hemoglobin and hematocrit levels. These are monitored because postpartum small for gestational age newborn exhibit polycythemia, but it does not require the immediate attention. And also polycythemia may contribute to increased bilirubin level. Usually it is beginning on the second day after delivery. So the priority nursing action of caring a post-term small for gestational age newborn admitted to nursery soon after the delivery, the priority nursing action is monitoring the blood glucose level. So thank you for watching the video. You can share this video to your friends, and also you can give your comments in the comment box. It's caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the crossfire.